a parasite has a problem. To complete its life, to reproduce, it must get from the body of a rat into the body of a cat. It cannot move a rat. It cannot summon a cat. All it can do is sit in the rat's tissues and wait for the one event that would carry it home, the rat being caught and eaten. And the remarkable, unsettling finding of the last few decades is that this parasite appears to tilt the odds of exactly that event by reaching into the rat's behavior and adjusting it. The parasite is Toxoplasma gondii, a single-celled organism of the apicomplexan group, the same broad family as the parasite that causes malaria. Its life cycle has a strict requirement. It can only complete its sexual stage inside a cat. But it is not fussy about where it waits in between. Toxoplasma can infect essentially any warm-blooded animal as an intermediate host: rodents, livestock, birds, and people, forming dormant cysts in muscle and brain tissue that sit quietly, sometimes for the host's whole life. By that route, it has become one of the most widespread parasites of humanity. Depending on the country, somewhere from 1/10 to more than half of people carry it, almost always without knowing. In a rodent, the parasite's interests and the host's diverge sharply, and this is where the famous finding lies. A healthy rat or mouse has a hardwired terror of cat odor. It avoids the scent of its principal predator instinctively, without having to learn the lesson the hard way. Rodents infected with toxoplasma lose that aversion. In controlled experiments, infected animals stop avoiding the smell of cat urine. Some studies report they are even drawn toward it. The fear that should keep the rat away from the cat is selectively switched off, and the cat is precisely the destination the parasite requires. Researchers have traced cysts to the rodent's brain and proposed mechanisms involving the dopamine system and the specific fear circuits of the amygdala, though exactly how a microbe edits a single behavior this cleanly is still being worked out. Now the careful part, because this is where the story is usually told badly. The rodent effect is real, specific, and has been replicated. The leap from there to claims that toxoplasma is quietly steering human personality, making people reckless or driving rates of mental illness, is a different and much weaker thing. Those human claims are correlational. They notice that people who carry the parasite differ, on average, in some measured trait, which is a long way from showing the parasite caused the difference. The associations are tangled with confounders. They have been inconsistent between studies, and a large, careful cohort that followed people for years found essentially none of the predicted effects. The honest summary is the asymmetry itself. In rats, a clear manipulated behavior. In humans, a contested signal that may be small or may not be there at all. Where toxoplasma genuinely does matter to human health is narrower and well established. A first infection during pregnancy can harm the developing fetus, and the dormant parasite can become dangerous in people whose immune systems are compromised. Those are real concerns with ordinary, undramatic precautions, and they are the part worth taking seriously. Step back and the biology is clean even where the headlines are not. A parasite that can raise its odds of reaching its next host will, over evolutionary time, be favored. Manipulation evolves because it pays the parasite, with no regard for the host at all. Toxoplasma happens to be an unusually tractable one to study, which is why it has become a workhorse in laboratories far beyond parasitology. And it offers a clean lesson in how to hold a striking claim. Mind control is too big a phrase for what is, in rodents, a specific edit to one fear, and in humans, mostly an open question. The interesting truth does not need the exaggeration. In tissue somewhere, in a sheep, a mouse, perhaps in you, there is a cyst dormant doing nothing. A single-celled passenger that completed its journey only if its host was eaten by a cat, waiting on a transfer it has no way to arrange, having done, in some hosts, the one strange thing it can to make that transfer a little likelier.